I was in management and I got called to the front office. And my boss began to talk to me. I came in and sat down, and my boss began to talk to me about my job performance. And he was telling me this, it's a very confusing message, but you're doing a good job, but you're not going about it the right way. To be right and wrong in the same instance is very hard to comprehend. So he talked to me for a very long time. And a lot of things that he was telling me he was wrong about. He didn't have the right story. He wasn't even involved in them. Man, he talked to me for like an hour and 45 minutes. And then all of a sudden, right as he's getting to the end of it, he says, I got to go. I said, what? He goes, I'm sorry. I just realized I have an appointment somewhere and I've got to go. And I was like, okay. And he was very apologetic. He was actually a tremendous boss. I've told you before, I just got lucky on everybody I've ever worked with. So he leaves for a couple hours, and I go outside and I'm collecting my thoughts, and I'm doing what most people do, that's defend and deny. And so I thought about everything that he said, and I thought, okay, what if I looked at this completely different? What if I looked at this and said, okay, forget what he's wrong about. What is he right about? What did he say that was right? And I came up with about maybe 30% of what he said he was right about. So I said, okay, I'm not going to worry about the 70, I'm going to worry about the 30. He comes back in a few hours later, really apologetic, and he says, I know you want to talk. I know there's a lot of things you have to say. I know I was probably wrong about things. And I said, I'll do better. And he said, what? I said, I'll do better. So I don't have anything to talk about. I said, I'll show you that I'm hearing what you're saying and I'll do better. And I remember he took off his glasses and he just looked at me and he goes, man, I wish everybody was like this. And after that day, I finally realized that every problem I have in my life starts with a guy named Garrett. He's my problem. He doesn't do what I tell him to do. He says things he shouldn't say. The things he should say, he doesn't say. And I began to take ownership of my life. The first thing that happened, very first thing that happened when I started thinking like that was I ceased to be a victim, because I realized I am in control. I mean, I'm not perfect by any means, but a lot of things that were happening in my life, and even to this day, are my fault. And I accepted that. Now, there are things every once in a while that are out of your control. But you're still in control because you can now tailor your response. Your life is not the sum total of what happens to you, it's the sum total of how you respond to it. That's really what makes you who you are and how your life is going to be. But the acceptance that you are the problem is number one to having a truly wonderful life. And I, as y'all know, I'm going to be 64 and I've had a wonderful life. Now, have I made major mess ups? Yes. But I accept them and I move on, and I do try to do better the next time. And it's been one of the most wonderful things that's ever happened to me is acceptance that Garrett is the biggest problem I face.